Yo, what is going on guys, and welcome to this mock showcase. Today I'll be showing you my latest build, the Vliegende Hollander or Flying Dutchman, as found in the Efteling. So this mock is a little different from what I usually do, which is building things found in Star Wars video games. This time I recreated the exterior from a theme park ride called the Vliegende Hollander, which translates to Flying Dutchman. This ride is found in one of Europe's most famous theme parks, the Efteling in the Netherlands. Some people call it the Dutch Disneyland, but that wouldn't be doing it justice. Efteling has been around since 1952 and has expanded over the past 70 years. Around 96% of the Dutch population has visited the park at least once, so for any Dutch people watching, this build is pretty recognizable. Anyway, I digress. After finishing my Takodana video, I immediately went to work on gathering reference for this mock. Since ticket and parking prices are pretty expensive, I decided to just search the ends of the earth for detailed shots showing the location. So while Takodana was chilling on one side of the desk, I started prototyping the pavement on the other. Since the tiles are laid in this pattern, I wanted to have the seams show up in the build. Very early on in the prototyping stage, I decided to switch the colors around from dark bluish grey to light bluish grey for economical reasons. The technique works like this. I also did it like this because I had another side of the pavement which needed to be shorter than a full tile. After finishing the prototype for the most important component, the pavement, I moved on and started on the windows found in the Herenhuis, which is a merchant's house like the ones you find in Amsterdam. These houses are characterized by their slim and lanky look and their facades. These houses were mostly constructed during the Dutch Golden Age, which lasted from about 1575 to 1675. The theme park ride is based on this era of Dutch history and the Flying Dutchman myth. Anyway, the windows. The windows found in the main house are stained glass. Hence the windows on the first floor require this construction. Another defining feature of this building are these cornerstones. First, I struggled for quite a bit in order to get the dimensions and sizes of the window and cornerstones looking right. I ended up using this construction to have a 1x1 bracket with a 1x1 plate and tile attached to it stick out by half a plate on both sides of the 90-degree turn. Next up was the small staircase leading up to the main door. I looked at some more reference and decided on sand green for the bottom layer to have a more diverse color scheme. I also went through quite a few versions of these lion gargoyles before calling it quits and having to accept this version. Next up was the door itself. I stared at the reference some more and came up with this design. I created a gap using jumpers to leave space for the microphone piece, which resembles the door handle. As you can see, there are some stones lining the sides of the door, so I counted them and worked out a design which allows them to line up with the other cornerstones. The house also features some slimmer windows. The first design iteration was quite deep, which I tweaked later on down the line. These also have shutters next to them in real life, but due to the dimensions of the windows, I decided to leave those out. Now that the main house was starting to take shape, the stability of the mock started to become an issue. This led me to design this Technic frame, which rests on a custom plate made of Technic bricks and big plates. The frame is attached to the plate using these brackets and a few 2x2 jumper tiles. This frame was also the point in the process in which the scale of the whole build was decided. The exterior also features stairs running alongside the house. This is where I made the decision to bring this mock to make a brick steenwijk and to make it modular. So these stairs have big slabs of stone as railings. I used sandwich tiles in these 1x2 slopes to have them rest in between two bits with a lantern on them. The stairs also feature a middle plateau with a door in the side of the merchant's house. So for the sake of accuracy, I had to include it too. Taking a little break from the house and the stairs, I started working on the texture for the walls. I made use of all kinds of pieces to get the cobblestone look, like these 1x2 plates, chairs, these Technic pieces, and of course, 1x1 curved tiles. You'll also see that the walls are lined with these battlements. So I went through a couple of versions and ended up with this simple design. Another feature of the walls are these sloped columns which slant inwards and become slimmer near the top. I worked out a design for them, which looks like this. I also needed a version for this corner. It's made up of a series of cubes stacked on top of each other. All credit for the door goes to Lech Kulina on Flickr and Instagram. I reversed engineered his design and tweaked it to make it work for my mock. Now that I had all the bits figured out, it was time to put the wall together. I built the wall onto a big plate like the one I made for the house and got to work. Now the back of the wall looks like this, and you might be asking yourself, what the fuck is he doing? I decided to turn this MOC into one big jigsaw puzzle. This basically means that all the different sections slide into each other perfectly. Now that I had completed this great wall, trust me, it's the greatest, I went back to the main house. And if you paid very close attention earlier on in the video, you may have noticed a boat on the front of the house. I thought about how to do it for quite some time. First I wanted to use slopes, but I valued my sanity more and went with a blend of regular and rounded 1x2 plates. Now all I had to do was figure out how to get all this stuff to fit in there. I made a rough sketch with the key features and basically started slapping slopes on there and just seeing which ones fit. Now it was time to start on the first floor of the main house. The real thing features this line, so I used some panels and tiles to achieve this look. I built the lower half of the boat hull into the wall and figured out that compactor window design. Next up was attaching the inside of the boat. I ended up building it into the Technic frame so it wouldn't fall and break, like it did while I was designing it. Behind the boat you'll see this typical Dutch Golden Age facade called a trapgevel, which means staircase facade. I again prototyped this for quite a while before going with this design. Now I had to go off some funky drone shots for the actual roof, but I accidentally stumbled on this design, using nipple tiles and cones to get the perfect height for the angle the panels need. I used the age-old trick of half-plate offset grill slopes to get the side pieces neatly placed against the main panel. After more than a month of almost constant work, I completed the main building. Now it was time to give the MOC some more color and life with the other houses lining the pavement. Earlier on when working on the wall, I made the foundations for the other houses also using the jigsaw construction. The first house I did was the dark red house. I again struggled with the shape of the boat, but I got it done eventually. A fun detail all these houses have is very unique doorbells, like this deer head and this cow, so I had to make sure to include them in my build. Next to the red house we have the green house. First thing I did was figure out the door design, which works like so, and then I mapped out another cobblestone texture. I also came up with this arch design, which is found on the side of the third house. Now all that was left for me to do was make more boats, finish up the houses, put roofs on them, and create a big plate to put figures on. I ended up going with some random figures, with some of them being references to fairy tales also found in the theme park. I also recreated the theme park logo, which I have free PDF instructions for. Check out the description for those. If you caught the MOC on display at Megabricks last year, make sure to let me know in the comments. Anyway, I hope you got some use out of the techniques shown in this video. Alright guys, that's going to be it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. The next MOCs I have in the pipeline are Weathertop from Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring, and the Enterprise Bridge from Star Trek, the original series. Be sure to subscribe so you'll be able to catch the next video when it comes out. For some more detailed shots, be sure to check out my Instagram and Flickr. Links are down in the description below. And as always, thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.